Well, look at what we got here. It looks like your girl Nicki Minaj is back on the scene with the gangster lean, and she got some things to say about Potomac. Okay. Last night she was firmly team Escala. She says this on her Instagram. She says Escala was right. I knew I'd like what she had to say once she finally spoke. And speak last night, Escala did, and she posted this message to her Instagram page. We got a lot to talk about. To me, this was probably the best Real Housewives of Potomac episode that I have ever seen. Okay, and we're going to get down into the get down in just 1 second, right after this intro. Hey, what's going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building and we are discussing the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 6, Episode 12, Reasonable or Shady. And let me ask y'all, I need y'all in that chatterization. Let me know what you thought about this episode because it, to me, was super duper lit. But we're going to rate that episode in just 1 second. Best believe we got some things to discuss with regards to last night's episode. But before we do that, make sure you guys let me know in the chatterization, okay? Let me know in the chatterization where y'all watching from because, you know, we nosy over here, and I like to know where my people are watching from. You know what I'm saying? Give me those details down in the chatterization, and let's highlight some people right now. I see we already got some 10s on the board. We got Chicago is in the building. Who else we got up in here? Indianapolis, I see you. Good morning, y'all. Nola, baby. Louisville, Kentucky. We got all of our people in the house. Durham, Macon, Georgia, Tulsa, NYC, Dominica, DC all day, every day. Trinidad, Wilmington, Bronx in the building. Youngstown, Ohio. I see y'all. Hey, y'all ready to go? Y'all ready to get this thing popping? Because we got a lot to talk about. Now, I'm about to bring up some news real quick for some of y'all, and some of y'all are going to be really excited about this, okay? Let's get into the news real quick. So, your boy Andy Cohen is about to start getting ready for the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion, y'all. Oh, yes, indeed. We's about to get that reunion. This action about to come up right now. He says this, my team is getting ready for the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. Tweet me all of your questions now for the ladies and their husbands and let me know where you're from in the question. Now, I guess the big question is because, you know, I mean, if they're going to be inviting the husbands, is Juan Dixon going to be there this time? Okay, that's the question I want to know. And, you know, y'all let me know in the chatterization what y'all think. Is Juan coming to the reunion or nah? I mean, I'm just curious. I want to know what you think. I just want to know what you think. Let's see here. Let's get into the episode. Well, Juan might show up, probably not. Michael is coming. Is Michael coming or nah? I don't know. Is Gizelle bringing her suitcase? I don't know. But we're going to talk about a whole lot of things today because this episode was legit. One of the best I've ever seen. And so let's go ahead and rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay. You hit the nail right on the head. Who was it? Somebody put it down in the chatterization. I thought I saw it. But I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, to me, it was 10s across the board. Happy birthday, boo. It was 10s across the board for me. And let me tell you guys why. Okay, I got to break this thing down. Number one, the editors, they had a field day with this episode right here. I mean, everything they did regarding the house, you know, how it looked, the construction zone, you know, the editing with Karen being impacted by her vaccination. You know what I'm saying? The blurry vision. It was everything. And what you guys may not have noticed that I definitely picked up on, and let me know if you did in the chatterization. They did an amazing callback to Grace's driving, and they tied it back into her story arc on the show with her having to move Candiace's car. And Gizelle knowing good and well. I mean, Gizelle basically said Grace can't drive. So Candiace is giving her keys to Grace. And as we see in the beginning of the episode, Grace is trying to park and she's running over cones. And at the end of the episode, she is trying to move Candiace's car so the rest of the ladies can leave. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, now, why would you let her give her keys to her? Okay, Gizelle, why would you let her do that? And sure enough, there's a scraperization of Candiace's car. I said, well, Lord, and Robin was still in the car. I was like, you know what? These editors are super smart on the show. And they gave us an extra 15 minutes. They gave us and they didn't even hype that up. And that's the other thing that I love about this episode and this season and this franchise in particular. Ain't no legal scandal. That's the prevailing headline over Potomac. They don't have that on this season or this show. All they got are 8 dynamic women who know how to bring the fun, the shade, the laughter, and nobody else could do this like they do it. You know what I'm saying? You got the right mix of women on this cast to bring us this level of drama. And the editors, this is top-notch editing. This is peak Real Housewives editing. I've never seen any other show where the editors really take their time to weave a dynamic story and then do all of these little extra things to make it juicy and good. Okay, it's amazing. Marquita Murray says Robin is the best father. She taught Grace how. You know what? Marquita, get off my line, girl. Get off of my line. I cannot deal with you today. Okay, I can't deal with you today. Thank you for that super chat though. So now that we didn't, I didn't given the episode, 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 and 10 and 10. We got to discuss. Okay, let's break it all down because it's a lot. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you, I was a little late because I was actually rewatching the end of the episode again to make sure I had all of my notes down because I think it was some stuff that I had missing. So I was like, let me make sure I get all my details right before I get up on this line and get with y'all today. You know what I'm saying? Before we do that, we got another super chat in the place. We got Carabo G with the super chat says the editors understood the assignment. Candiace was on fire. Karen was hilarious. Wendy still had her foot on everybody's necks. Definitely a 10. And let me go ahead and tell y'all this. Wendy definitely had her foot on their necks last night. And she posted this to her Instagram. She says this: I love a good theme party. Never knew I would have so much fun in a driveway in a tent while getting attacked by gnats. Was that reasonable or shady? Swipe left for my answer. Boom. Shady. I absolutely loved it. Wendy shined last night like nobody's business. And I was like, you know what? Y'all are giving me everything that I need right now. So thank you for that super chat. You really hit home a point that I wanted to make to you guys as well with Wendy's shade from that. Okay. So we start off, and we start off at Gizelle's warehouse, okay? And by warehouse, I mean construction zone. Listen, I hope the house looks nice when it's done. I really do. I want the best for these ladies because they deserve it. But right now, it's looking like a warehouse. Right now, it's looking like a construction zone, okay? You got a whole random staircase that's just sitting out there, in the middle of the yard. Like, where is the staircase? Is this the staircase to heaven? Jamal, are you up there? Are you coordinating things down here on, from the heavens? You know what I'm saying? Because he's a pastor and he's holy and on high. Okay. Anyway. Oh, we got another super chat. Crystal says Real Housewives of Atlanta definitely needs Real Housewives of Potomac producers. Amen to that. Amen to that. Let me head right up to the staircase and pray on that one. Anyway, but I will say Gizelle looks good in her confessional. I do like this new confessional of hers. The color looks nice. The hair looks nice. I like it a lot. Okay. My second favorite character on the show, Grace, is driving and she running over the cones. Okay. And I live for Grace. I do. There's something about Grace and them girls. They just deliver comedy with their mama every time they own the camera. And it makes for good TV. I love it. So anyway, Robin calls about the party that will be outside in the tent, okay? Gizelle doesn't want them girls in the house, specifically Wendy and Karen, and she don't even want to let them use the bathroom. Robin is not co-signing that. She finally puts her foot down and she says, no, ma'am, not on my watch. You are not going to make these women use the bathroom outside in the outhouse. Not today, okay? Bruce says, Richie, you should. Where was the staircase going? Okay. Highway to heaven. Moving right along. Thank you for that super chat, though. Karen is meeting with Robin, her PR person, who has brought candle samples, and LaDame has its own home essentials luxury kit, and she wants to gift the ladies candles. Karen, she talks about, Mia and Wendy both going into the candle business, and basically says, Robin, the PR person, basically says, well, isn't Wendy a teacher or something like that? And Karen has to, and I don't know if Robin was being shady. Robin, was you being shady? Because I thought she was being shady when she said, ain't she supposed to be a teacher? Well, teachers can make candles too. Teachers like wicks too. You know what I'm saying? She might want to teach about making some candles. Okay, once she figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Karen and Ray go outside and he gets a text or a phone call from some girl, and they label this a junk call. Now, what is a junk call? What is it? Because I don't get those. Now, I get the spam likely calls. Is that the same thing? But at the end of the day, when I get a spam likely call, don't nobody's photo pop up. So was it a call or was it a text? And if it was a text, was it a picture that was sent with the text message? It didn't make no sense to me, because how would he know that it's a pretty young thing on the end of the line unless it was a photo? Was it a FaceTime? Did he answer the FaceTime? What kind of phone he got? I was just trying to figure that out because it didn't make no sense to me. Anyway, Karen is like, who is that? Give me the phone, because I'm about to call this person and let them know that Mrs. Huger is on the line and she don't appreciate you calling her man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really get what this whole scene was about, and I don't know what they was trying to depict here, because I couldn't understand how the message came through. So until somebody can riddle me that, we're just gonna have to bypass this, okay? Thank you so much for the super chat, Antoinette. I appreciate you, girl. I appreciate you. We had another one come through. Victoria says, ooh, Potomac is sure making Salt Lake City look second-handed. It's hard to show. It's a hard show to follow. Meanwhile, Giselle's house is a jigsaw puzzle. Not a jigsaw puzzle. Oh, girl, they take so long to figure out. Ooh, you gotta have patience for that. You're right about that, though. I mean, watching Potomac and then watching Salt Lake City, I was like, what are y'all doing? Anyway, mind you, we will be reviewing Salt Lake City at 2 p.m. Okay. Anyway, come back for that. So then we get Candiace chatting with her mama about the work they've done in the house. They recap the video shoot, and wait, let me see. Let me make sure we got, okay. We got something else. She almost says the stairs to nowhere, just like her relationship with Jamal. Maybe the relationship is up those stairs too. I don't know. I really don't know. Shall we proceed? Yes, indeed. Okay, so Candiace wants to know what was said between Miss Dot and Mia. When did we start calling her Miss Dot? Because this seems new to me. I thought we was calling her Miss Dorothy, but this season we calling her Miss Dot. I'm confused. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and call it what they calling her. Anyway, Miss Dot doesn't remember what she said. She don't remember what she said. Okay, Miss Dot said, "I don't remember what I said." I don't remember either, girl. Anyway, and I feel like that's Miss Dot's way of getting out of this situation with Candiace, because she don't really want to go down the rabbit hole of telling Candiace everything that she said to those ladies about her man. And I don't blame you, Miss Dot. You ain't got to. It's your prerogative. You her mama. You could do whatever you want to do. Sensibility Speaks says, "Don't let us find out Ray has a whole sugar baby." Come on now, Ray. Ray out in these streets, okay? Daddy Ray. So Chris comes in and Candiace relays that Mia was asking the town crier, that's what she said about her mama, okay, about getting paid for management services. Miss Dot wonders if about Chris's management services and whether or not that's working. Chris brings up his and Candiace's prenup, okay, and the fact that Miss Dot doesn't pay his bills. And Candiace feels like Mia is meddling in her marriage and shades Mia's work at the joint by throwing in the stripper jab, calling it Chiropractic Strippers LLC. And then her mom gets off the hook scot-free. Now, in this conversation, I think that it is convenient that it is only Mia that is facing the ire of Candiace's of Candiace at this point in time, because it was really a combination of some of the other ladies asking questions, but Miss Dot actually bringing things up to some of the ladies. Comes basically the situation with Mia and her mom is that Mia feels like her mom and her sister have a codependent relationship. She also feels like because she has her ish together that her mom oftentimes puts her second versus her sister who maybe doesn't have her ish together the way that Mia does. And I can actually attest to the fact that I think that this is sometimes something that siblings go through. You know, sometimes the parent may be a little bit more focused on one of the kids because they feel like the other kid can handle, you know, whatever life is throwing at them a little bit better. So they tend to focus their attentions on the one, and maybe the other one they feel like is doing fine, but then maybe they're not doing fine, and maybe they need the same amount of love and attention as well. So this is something that I've seen and heard of before, okay? Adrian says, Giselle's house looks like someone built it using the Common Core new math. It's giving me a Tetris T, just blocks and shapes. Y'all so silly. Donzie Riv says, Miss Dot is her video vixen name. Thirsty Must IJS. I like it. Miss Dot is the video vixen name. Yes, come on now. Anyway, her mom does apologize, and I do feel for her mom in that situation before, because we also learned that her mom has gone to, I guess, either jail or prison. I can't remember which one because it was so much that happened in the episode. And I really do feel for Mia's mom because I understand, I can only imagine what it feels like to be put on a national platform like this and then to have to relive some of the things that her mother is reliving. So my heart went out to her as I watched this scene, and I really felt for her in that moment. But it's interesting that they put that scene in this week's video, considering later on we will see that Candiace is calling Mia's mom low budget. Okay. Was that a Yo Mama joke going too far? I definitely think it was, considering what we saw in the episode, right? But we'll talk about it in a little bit, right? We'll talk about it in a little bit. Anyway, Karen gets to Wendy's house, and I'm going to be very honest with y'all. All I saw in that scene was Wendy was her booty. Okay. That's all I saw in that scene was her booty. Her booty in them jogging pants. And I was like, oh, okay, now I see the enhancement. Okay. And it looked good. I ain't going to even lie to you. We can have real conversation here. I'm going to just go ahead and tell you, it looked good. It did. I mean, bravo to your doctor, because they did that doggone thing. Okay. And I like it. Keep it up, Wendy. You looking good. Anyway, she's recapping her business meeting with Eddie to Karen. Karen feels like they can both have their own candle lines. And Wendy looks great in her new confessional as well. A scholar comes over to help with the charity that they're all working on for educators. And we actually get a photo. Now we're getting closer and closer to the Escala package, y'all. Somebody alert the media. We are getting closer and closer to the Escala package. They showed a picture of her kids and her husband. Finally, justice for Escala, because one day soon, hopefully maybe even next week, because her husband is allegedly going to be on the cash trip, we will finally get a little package that features Escala and her home life, because we definitely need it after this week's episode. Okay. So after that, we also learned that Escala was also an educator. Fun fact. And so anyway, they recap the video shoot. Escala brings up Mia asking Miss Dot about Chris's management and whether or not he's getting paid. They talk about Robin and Giselle's invite for friends and haters. Now, I think it's important to also realize here, when they wrote the invitation, they too were being shady because, and I want to make this known right now, because later on, Gizelle will accuse Wendy of being shady when she invites them to Chesapeake, but Gizelle and Robin were also being shady, but because they were basically saying friends and haters, because they knew they were talking about Karen and Wendy at that point when they made the invitation. You can't tell me nothing different. Anyway, Karen says in her confessional that she thinks that Gizelle is hoping for some hating, and Wendy doesn't understand why Gizelle is bringing negative energy to the invite by calling people haters when they have all allegedly made up. So Wendy knows going into this event, she's going to be on the menu. Okay. We got another super chat here from D Free. Thank you so much, boo. Appreciate that. But let's continue on. Okay. Wendy wants to go to Eastern Shore for a weekend trip with the men's. Okay. She wants the husband to come so that people speaking on their husbands can finally pull up. You know what I'm saying? And then they ask Karen if she thinks that Juan will come. Is Juan coming? Karen says, based on previous experience, probably not. I don't think he coming either. But based on the way the episode went, I don't think Robin gonna be there either. Nor Gizelle, nor Jamal. I digress. Anyway, they ask who Giselle's plus one will be, and Karen says Robin. And Wendy says her suitcase. This episode, it just delivered. Anyway, it's the day of the reasonably shady event, and we learned that Gizelle hurt her foot doing some work in her backyard. She's preparing the charcuterie and some posters outside, but she can't stop eating on the charcuterie. Okay. I would be doing the same thing because I'm hungry and I like to eat, and I would have probably ate an entire charcuterie before the people even got there. Bruce says, I'm hoping you'll be able to get an interview with Wendy, Candiace, or Ashley someday. Would love to hear their take on these episodes. Well, you know, the funny thing about it is I feel like the only person I would probably love to interview at some point in time would be Wendy, but I don't really reach out a lot of times to people for interviews, mostly because I got to talk about these people. So, you know, some people be offended when I say stuff about them, and it's never in a mean way. I'm just calling out what I see on the episode and on social media and in the meet and in print. I talk about the things that are in print. So for me, I'm just giving my commentary on what's going on. And if I got questions for them, that's usually a good time to ask. And I do have questions for Wendy. So maybe I'll reach out to her one day and see if she's open to doing it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you for that suggestion. I appreciate that. Gizelle is wobbling around and eating. Okay. She's doing the thing and eating. And here comes Ashley screaming about how much she loves the new addition to the house. Girl, I love what you are doing with this house. Where does this staircase go? She is going off about, oh my God, I love the new addition. Girl, this new addition is not even of the same material that the main house is. And the other new addition is basically some planks and some wood. What are you talking about? What are you screaming about outside of your car? You can't even park the car good. You yelling outside the car about the house. Oh God, it's so pretty. It's so pretty out here. Girl, stop lying. Anyway, Ashley gets there, okay? And to be quite honest with you, when Ashley showed up, I forgot she was on this show. I was like, oh, I forgot she was here because we hadn't gotten no solo scenes from Ashley. And quiet as it's kept ever since she had the baby and ever since she left, Williamsburg, she really ain't had much to do other than talk about Michael and his business, okay? And get called out by Candiace. We saw how that went. Anyway, balloons are flying, okay? The tow trucks and the trucks that are bringing in the materials are stuck in the mud. But we do find out that she passed her inspection. Linda Fauntleroy says, I wish I would sit back and let somebody disrespect my mother like Candiace did, swinging that stiff weave. She would have been scalped down to the dirt. Doggone it, Linda. Come on now with it. Thank you for that super chat. JMW says, is it me or is Wendy, Karen, and Skylar carrying the season? Listen, the season is good. The season is good. It's lit, JMW. Thank you for that super chat. Now, back to what I was saying. Mia rolls up looking for some valet, and she's wondering if instead of Hotel Gizelle, it's Motel Gizelle. And y'all know the difference between a hotel and a motel, right? Now, this ain't no offense to anybody that own a motel, but I ain't ever trying to set foot in nobody's motel. Motel just got a very negative connotation to go along with it. And I mean, it just ain't something that you want to step foot into no more. I mean, do you drive by motels recently? And do you see what they look like? Ain't no way. No, ma'am. No how. We got another super chat from Camilla who says, Hotel Gizelle was definitely given hourly hostel Gizelle. Not a hostel. Thank you so much, Camilla. I appreciate that. But you know what? I'm sure it's going to be lovely by the time they finish. Just lovely. Skylar comes in. She got a bottle with her. Thank you so much. Because don't show up to nobody's house without a bottle. You know what? It's a pet peeve of mine. Have some manners about yourself. When you come to somebody's house, have something to give them, give them some libation, something to, make your entry worthwhile. And I appreciate Skylar for understanding that assignment. Wendy comes in with her. I think she had a bottle. I believe just about everybody had a bottle, I think. And I thought that was good. Shamar says, I thought I was the only person that thought Giselle's house looked like it. if she watched all the shows on HGTV and said, I'll take it. I will take, give me everything you got and just bring it on here in the tow trucks. Okay. Thank you, Shamar. Okay. So Skylar comes bringing a bottle. And I don't know if y'all heard this, but Gizelle has to remind Robin to go greet Skylar. Now, here's the thing. This was what made me think that Skylar was not really Robin's real friend. But I could be wrong. But the fact that Gizelle had to remind her to go and greet Skylar, girl, that's your friend. You brought her into the group. You just gonna let her walk in? No, girl, go greet her. Okay, and so Robin runs along. Anyway, Wendy arrives with her bottle of Moet. Karen arrives asking if the tent in the back was for pandemic testing. Oh God, that was a delight. She arrives with her Vouv and her candles because she got some candles as gifts. And we learned that Karen just got her second vaccination shot. Now it's important that we do the correct pronunciation. Vaccination, not to be confused with vaccination, but she got her second vaccination shot and she is seeing stars. So we don't know what's about to happen in this episode because Karen can't see straight and she don't know what's going on. And anytime somebody speaks, this is all she sees. Okay. And so anyway, back off Karen. Okay. Candiace is running late. So they start announcing their podcast with Black Effect Network on the iHeart, Reasonably Shady. They talk about how they're in business together and how they had a difference of opinion about how the event should go and whether or not Karen and Wendy should be allowed to use the bathroom indoors. Now, maybe they can use the staircase to get to the bathroom. Maybe the staircase in the back leads to an outhouse someplace. I don't know. But anyway, Wendy says she wasn't going to come anyway. So that's interesting. Gizelle says, well, you talked about my home. Wendy says, I never talked about your home. I talked about the way you dress. Gizelle says that she was on the hater list. And Wendy says, so I was hating on this. This home, this is what I was hating on. This masterpiece theater here, this is what I was hating on. This tent in the backyard, is this what I was hating on? And so they have a little back and forth about coming to events and they end up on all of them just we all go to each other's events. So then Karen takes Mia to the side to relay that Wendy and Skylar told her about Mia asking questions about Chris and Candiace. So Wendy is still sitting there with the rest of the group, with the rest of the ladies, and she not drinking. She don't want nothing because she knows she needs to be in her right mind in order to address these ladies today because she realizes that she was on the menu, okay? And when I say somebody's on the menu, what I mean is that day at that event, you are the subject of the conversation. You will be the target of the attacks. You will be the person who will be fried, filleted, deep fried, and roasted today. And Wendy was well aware of that. So she said, no libations for me. I'm going to sit here and be in my right mind so that I can get y'all together today. Okay. We got another super chat from Marie Michelle Gray. Thank you so much, boo. I appreciate the love. Okay. So much. So let's see here. Where are we in my notes? Now it's game time. Okay. It's game time. And the game is it reasonable or shady? Is it reasonable or shady? Thank you for the super chat. To be Black Native, vax side effects. Y'all so silly. Now, the first question is it reasonable or shady to hold on to a grudge after an apology is already made? This was basically directed at Karen, okay, who feels that it was reasonable. And meanwhile, Candiace is running down the walkway like this, trying to avoid the gnats, not knowing where on the earth she is. This is so reminiscent of Sheree trying to make her way down Kenya Moore's driveway and having to have an escort as she's on the way down. And listen to me, I was cracking up. Okay, we got another super chat here from Chioma who says she did what any angry Nigerian do. We will go to your house, but find an excuse not to eat anything. It's a Nigerian thing. Oh, Chioma chiming in with the wisdom there. Thank you, boo. We appreciate you. Let me tell you, Candiace coming down that walkway, baby. Okay. I can't. So the next question is it reasonable or shady to talk about your friend when they are not around? Gizelle says this is about the Eddie situation. So Gizelle says that this conversation about Eddie was not was reasonable. Okay. Gizelle says that, but you told, if you say that wasn't reasonable and you think that was shady, Wendy, but you told Candiace that Mia was talking about her to her mother. Okay. And so Mia and Wendy then get into a discussion about whether or not that was shady. Gizelle and Mia say that it wasn't the time or the place to tell Candiace that Mia was asking questions because Candiace was in her zones and you don't want to take her out her zone because she got to film a music video. Wendy asked Mia if she's regretting what she said, what she asked Mama Doc. Meanwhile, Candiace is still creeping down this path. Now, I don't know if y'all notice how many times Candiace is still creeping down this path filled with gnats, okay? And I got to tell y'all something. I did not even notice the gnats until the second time I watched the show, okay? I didn't notice the swatting of all the gnats. Did y'all notice it? Because I didn't notice it. Anyway, so she's still creeping down the walkway like she's in a horror movie. Karen herself is getting lightheaded. And that's when the editors start having a field day with all the hijinks at that point, making the screen blurry and such, even to go so far as to blur the ladies when they were in their title cards. So, I mean, this little effect right here that they kept doing, this was top tier television because they used each of these little edits in such a way that it enhanced the story and it did not take away from it. And they were just the most random moments ever. We get Shamar with a super chat that says the GBs can't be mad that they put in an order for shade, and the Green Eye Bandits can't be mad that they put in an order for shade and got a whole from Wendy Eclipse. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Boom, that part right there. You can't be mad, as a scholar says later, and we'll get into that. Octavia says, Candy walking up the drive make gave Lost in the Wheels of Oz realness. Check your mom for talking about you and for wearing the lemon pepper steppers to the parking lot. Y'all are crazy. We got another super chat here. From Cat64470 says Robin was sickening on Watch What Happens Live, taking up for that sleaze, Erica. So we are supposed to forget about the victims because she took you out to dinner. Girl, bye. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Thank you so much. Queen says, my favorite highlight of the episode was when Ascala telling Candiace to make a video and send it to her. I passed out. I didn't see that part. This is why I say this episode is, you got to rewatch it. You have got to rewatch it. You got to rewatch it. You got to rewatch it. It's the little things that make the difference. Anyway, Karen is getting lightheaded again. Candiace finally makes her way down, and they are still going at it. Oh, we got another one from JMW who says, Wendy and Candiace was ready for all of them. It was planned to chop, saute, grill each and every one due to it being Robin and Gizelle's event. Get into it. Thank you, boo. Appreciate that. You are absolutely correct on that note. All right. They still going at it. And then Candiace sits down and orders her champagne. And they catch her up about whether or not Wendy was being shady by telling Candiace about Mia asking questions of Miss Dot during Candiace's video shoot. Candiace basically, I'm going to just go ahead and say this. Candiace doesn't really feel like it was wrong because she feels like that's my girl. She told me when she felt like it was appropriate. Okay. But Wendy tries to address Robin, and Mia lightly taps her on the shoulder when she's trying to interject and explain something to Wendy. And Wendy is like, no, Mia says, well, at that point, Wendy, you were making the whole situation about Candiace and her mom about you. And Wendy's like, please don't touch my shoulder. And Mia says, well, you need to move over then. So that little dynamic right there was very interesting because it does tell us that these two ladies are still not on a good foot. Then we get Candiace addresses Mia about what Mia was asking Mama Dot. And Mia clarifies, that she just wanted to know, where the management was. And Candiace was like, well, you're asking about the management, what my tatas look like and what my bank account looks like, being extra dramatic right there. And Mia says, well, basically, look, I got to your video shoot, girl, and I wanted to be there, but wasn't no management there to greet me. Nobody was there. I was the only one there, and you weren't even there either. You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't want to be at a video shoot that was low budget. And Candiace chimes in and says, your mama's low budget. Watch your mouth. Now, let me say, I got to say this. Okay. Now, and I gotta ask myself this question because I got to be real with myself. When Dr. Heavenly says your mama to Mariah on Married to Medicine, I am slightly amused because I'm like, oh my God, did she really go there? But I'm kind of not amused because you're talking about somebody's mama. I felt the same way watching this scene right here. I'm like, ooh, the yo mama thing came out of nowhere. But then I was like, ooh, given what we just saw earlier, was that too low? That scene kind of low. What y'all think? Because I was like, I don't know how to feel about that. But I know that Gizelle felt like it was team too much. And I kind of feel like, you know, there was this thing on Real Housewives of Orange County where, and I meant to talk about this when we talked about the wide face, wide body, and, you know, all of that, you know, going back and forth. And Emily Simpson said something like this. She said, she was talking about Vicki Gunvalson because Kelly Dodd had called Vicki Gunvalson a pig. They said she looked like a pig. And Emily said, let's not come at Vicki about her looks because that's mean. She says, let's come at her about her character because that's horrible. Okay. And I kind of agree with that sentiment here. It's like Gizelle said this. She said, you know what? You can come at Mia about her big hands and her big feet. These are Gizelle's words. But the yo mama thing, in light of what they had already learned, was low. You know what I'm saying? But even then, that falls into the range of body shaming. So I don't know what's appropriate no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't. That's where I'm at with it. So I try to leave that subject alone, but I'm just trying to figure out and rationalize in my head how I felt about it because I felt a little uneasy about it. And that's just me. Y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. I don't know how to maneuver that because for me, I feel like if I'm coming at somebody, if I'm having an argument, I'm arguing on topic. I'm going to get you on the topic. And if you can't argue with me about the topic that we're talking about, then if you got to go someplace else, like my looks or my family, to me, I consider that a weak argument because you cannot clearly articulate your point well enough to feel like you won the argument. So you have to go in a whole different direction in order to get back on top of this situation. That's what I think. That's how I view in real life these types of arguments. But on television, it can be funny, but maybe not so funny. So I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know where I'm at with it. White Tiger says Candiace would have lost her mind if someone called her mom low budget. I'm surprised Mia didn't blow up. You know, Mia seems to maintain her composure pretty well when faced with adversity from the ladies. So it may be just that she's a good fit for this show and she don't really take it that seriously. I don't know. I really don't know. Queen says, look, Richie, I'm full-blown Nigerian. If you come from my mom, someone will end up at the dentist and the other will end up in jail. Don't cross my lane. Boom. See, that's what I'm talking about. People don't be playing about their mamas. You know, Toya Taylor says, Candiace acts like she is the most beautiful thing mankind has ever seen. Why insult someone's mom or someone's looks? Girl, you ain't that fortunate looking. Y'all are going in today. Neff says, you start your event telling your invitees that you weren't going to let them use your restroom, but now you mad because they attitudes stink. Make it make sense. Boom. You hit the nail on the head right there. Dame Too Fly says, someone informed Candiace about Mia prior to that moment because next week she continues to the assault on Mia's mom. Yeah, we will continue to see her go at Mia's mom. So it does kind of make you wonder, did she already know the stuff about Mia's mom? And because then I have a different take on the situation. If she had previous knowledge about that and that's what she's going after, then I think that's just wrong. If she did not have any knowledge of it and she was just pulling out a yo mama joke, then I feel a little bit different about that. So we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. Anyway, they get into a back and forth about whether or not Mia was being a supportive friend by coming to her event and asking her mom, those questions about Chris. So Ashley then chimes in, who again, I forgot Ashley was there. What is she doing? Is she getting paid for all this? Because she's not really doing that much. She could have been a friend. They could have made a Skylar the main wife this season, and Ashley could have had time to sit at home with her baby. Okay. Anyway, that's just what I think. And there I said it. And so Ashley chimes in with the fact that Candiace has made the fact that her mother supports her financially public. And Candiace, I completely agree with her this time, was like, were you there, beloved? Ashley's like, no. And Candiace is basically like, well, good night. Okay. Because at the end of the day, Ashley, you're never there. You're never there. You don't know. Stop interjecting. I understand you trying to, insert yourself so people can know that you still, hey guys, I'm still here. But at the end of the day, you weren't there. You didn't know. Okay. Bottom line. So it didn't work. Anyway, we got another super chat from Cindy who says on Twitter, Candiace says she didn't know anything about Mia's mom, so I'll give her a pass. Okay, so then we'll back up off of that and we'll let it go because I'm not one for trying to read in between the lines of whether or not somebody lying or not. If she says she didn't know, I'm gonna go with it at this point. Okay. Thank you for that update. I appreciate you so much. So meanwhile, as we get down into it, Candiace also calls Ashley wide-faced again. Oh God. Anyway, before Candiace asks Candiace asked who else was asking questions to my mama. Gizelle says, well, Karen was too. Karen disagrees, but Wendy points it right back to Gizelle and says, girl, you was also asking questions. And then Skylar points that Robin too was asking questions. So that's when it comes that everybody was asking questions and talking to Miss Dot about all of this stuff like that. And then Robin chimes in that she's been on Juan's payroll before, so she understands this situation. Another super chat here from Karabo G who says it's the beloved for me. It was definitely the beloved for me. Were you there, beloved? No. Okay. Good night. Now, let's see here. Let's see here. Candiace doesn't like, and she admits that she's not one for, she's sensitive about the topic of finances between, her and Chris. And then we learned that she's not paying Chris, right? So we learned that at that moment that he's not being paid. And so that answers that question. And I wonder if anybody had just thought to ask that in the first place. Girl, is he getting paid? That may have made this whole situation better. But I digress. Mia says that she wasn't being shady. Candiace says you called it low budget. Gizelle mumbles, well, it wasn't high budget. And then producers do a wide pan of the construction zone. Basically, Gizelle, how are you going to talk about something being low budget, but we're here with all of this and the stairway to heaven, okay? Make it make sense, because the producers didn't, okay? They did that on that part right there. Anyway, Candiace goes off on Mia and says that all the rest of those hoes, I don't like using that word, but that's what Candiace said. She says, all the rest of these hoes been talking about you, and I've been defending you. She says, so next time, just don't come to my event. So then Gizelle asked the next question. Is it reasonable or shady to drunk call your friend and tell them that you don't like them? So apparently, Karen had been drunk call Robin and told her she liked Juan better than her. But Robin, so amused by Karen, can't seem to find a way and can't seem to find the wherewithal to get off the phone with her because she just enjoys drunk Karen so much. And let me tell you something. I got to admit, that drunk or vaccinated, whatever the case may be, bring it on, Karen. Somebody give Karen a bottle of Moet every time she about to go film a scene, because Karen, to me, this episode, baby, you did it. Okay. The next thing they ask is it, Robin has to ask this question because Gizelle makes her basically. Robin says, is it reasonable or shady to be concerned about dramatic changes to your friend's appearance after cheating rumors about their husband arise? Everybody's looking. Wendy, is it reasonable or shady? So Gizelle says it's reasonable. And Wendy says, well, it's reasonable if the same blog reported that you had an STD. Boop. And so Gizelle says, well, I don't. Okay. Francine, love you, DJ Richie Skye. Your channel gives me life. Amen. Come on now. Thank you, Francine. We appreciate you over here. The fact that it was made that Gizelle made Robin read that question was just very interesting to me. And I found it fascinating. I really did find it fascinating that it was Robin who was put in the position to have to deliver this information versus Gizelle taking this on because she is the one who was running behind everybody's back, talking about this whole situation and asking questions about the Eddie rumors in the first place. So why would you make Robin do your dirty work the same way she somewhat subliminally, subconsciously manipulated Ashley into being the person to deliver the news about the Eddie rumors? Boom. Keep that in mind. Keep it in mind, okay? So then, Wendy brings up the fact that the women allegedly talked about her at Robin's birthday dinner. Ashley tries to chime in and say that they weren't. Robin, for some reason, keeps trying to tell Wendy to chill and that she's doing too much. Wendy says that she's calm and that Robin is the one who is hyped. I do feel like Wendy was calm in that situation. I feel like she was ready for them, and I think that that's what Robin didn't like. She already knew that they were going to come at her, and I think Robin didn't like the fact that Wendy had an answer or a response for anything that they threw at them. Okay. Meanwhile, Karen Potang is spiraling off onto the side. I mean, her world is just dizzy from the vaccine that she got in her arm. Now, she got the second dose of the vaccine, but she's basically just, spiraling off in the corner while Candiace, for some reason, is singing off to the side. This was just a symphony of chaotic antics, and I was here for every little bit of it. And they just, it was a symphony. Everybody had an instrument and they played it well, okay? They played it well. Anyway, Robin tells Wendy that she's being an a-hole, and then Robin tells her that they weren't talking about her. But as she's saying, well, no one was talking about all her food falling on the floor. And Wendy's like, karma, okay? Karma. That's your karma. You can't keep your food on your plate because you so busy trying to make up stuff about me. Okay? That's what it is. Anyway, Candiace says that they talked about Wendy for 40 minutes at Robin's birthday dinner. Finally, Wendy shuts Robin down and tells her to stop yelling at her because she is not Robin's child. So Robin then gets all mad in a huff and says, oh, I'm done. And she picks up her phone. Okay? So then Wendy articulates what we have said all along. If they were so concerned about her, they would just pick up the phone and call her. And she today is not here for their theatrics. So then Gizelle tries to interject. And then Wendy says, I didn't say ish to your ASS. I said everything I have to say to you today. Okay. Or back when I said it in Williamsburg. Sit your butt down. Basically, let me tell you something. She dragged Gizelle in her own home. Well, her own tent, in her own driveway. Okay. So then Gizelle basically tells her, get out, get O-U-T, get out of my house, okay? Because she says she will not be disrespected in her own house. Wendy is sitting there smirking, but it is Karen who has the most reasonable response to that. Karen says, well, this just shows Gizelle's delusion. Girl, this ain't your house. We're sitting in your driveway. This is public property right here, okay? So then Skylar has to break it on down for the Green Eye Bandits. She says the question y'all asked was very offensive, but when she comes back at you, you cannot be mad at her. So then Mia chimes in, and I'm thinking to myself, girl, Mia, this is not the time. This is not the time to chime in. And she asks Skylar, girl, are you the mediator? And Skylar is like, you better sit down with your whole self. Keep it cute. I mean, that is verbatim what she said. I kid you not. And I wrote in my notes, oh, yikes. Skylar has shown up today and she's not having any more. And I just felt like, oh, Mia, don't say nothing. Just Because you right here between Skylar and Candiace, who is gripping on to Wendy, and I don't know what might happen to you, Mia. I don't know what might happen to you. Anyway, Karen has had enough, and she is spiraling once again. She is seeing stars, and all she wants to know is if Wendy is inviting all these girls on the girls' trip to the Chesapeake Bay. Now, Crystal, thank you so much for the super chat and who said B. Scott just posted on IG. Cynthia Bailey has confirmed she isn't returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Well, what do you know? We had done said it, and B. Scott had done confirmed it. Cynthia Bailey gone too soon. Well, not me, she just gone from the Housewives world. Okay, let me clarify that. She is off the show, but you can still see Cynthia Bailey up on the You can still see Cynthia Bailey up on that good Real Housewives All Stars, the Ultimate Girls Trip. You can still see her. Thank you, Crystal, for that super chat. We appreciate you. Bye-bye, Cynthia. Lexi Sanford says, Zen Win said, don't try to little girl her, and then says Mia's fake. Thank you for that super chat. Okay. Should we read Cynthia's goodbye? While we on the line, we'll read Cynthia's goodbye message in just a little bit. All right, we'll do that. Candiace says, Donzie Riff says, Candiace, if you go low, I go to hell type. Wendy had her foot on Jizzy and Robin's neck. She's too quick and witty. Skylar was on point though. Okay. Wendy invites everybody, but really shades the heck out of Gizelle and Robin. She basically announces all the husbands that are going to be coming on the trip. And then when she gets to Robin, she says, Dre is coming with Mia. I guess, with Skylar. G is coming with Mia. You will have Chris Bassett there. Nobody. Okay. And then we will have, maybe Michael will show up. And then Ray is going to be in the house. And Gizelle, you can bring a suitcase. I was too through. So Gizelle then tells the camera she feels like Wendy's invitation was stank. Well, Gizelle, you said in your invite to your tent that it was for friends and haters. So somebody in that group got to be the hater, and we all know who you were referring to. So you can't be mad that Wendy gave it right back to you. I mean, turnabout was fair play in that sense. Anyway, the drama's not over yet. The girls are ready to go, but they can't leave. Why can't they leave? Because in the driveway that Candiace was creeping down earlier, all you see is Candiace's car is blocking the way. So Candiace is on her way inside Gizelle's house to get a tour of the closet, but Skylar has to turn back because she can't creep down this walkway in these hills. And she says, when there is some stairs here, some reasonable, respectable stairs, and not that stairway to heaven, when there are some reasonable stairs here, I will come back through. But until then, send me a video message, girl, because that's where I'll see it. I ain't gonna see it no other kind of way. So inside, they have to call Candiace and let her know she's blocking the way, but she's too deep inside the house. And so Grace is following behind. It's like, oh, girl, I'll do it. I'll move your car. And Gizelle's like, oh, maybe you should have a qualified driver do that. And Candiace is yet handing Grace the keys. And Grace is like, oh, yes, I'm about to drive this thing. And so Candiace is like, well, girl, don't wreck my car. Don't wreck my car. Don't wreck my car. Okay. So anyway, Grace gets outside. She has Robin to go with her to move the car. So they move the car, right? Don't y'all know they scraped that thing? They scraped that thing all up on that side. And we done seen so many scenes of Grace running over cones, halfway running over the production people. It just ain't the time. Now is not the time. Candiace, go move your own car, okay? Or have one of those tow truck drivers drive your car up out the way, okay? Anyway, to me, this episode was amazing. I could not get enough of it. I listen, it was everything. It was everything. Now I'm gonna go to Instagram real quick because we got to get this Cynthia Bailey tea, and let's pull it on up. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up for y'all. Since we here, we might as well discuss it because I ain't making no more. I got a whole nother live to do today at 2 p.m. All right, here we go. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the Cynthia Bailey? The Cynthia Bailey of it all? Here we go. So we get the message from Cynthia, who says, after much thought and consideration, I have made the very difficult and heartfelt decision not to return for the next season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Thank you, NBC, Universal, Bravo, and Truly Original for over a decade of partnership. I can't wait to see what we do next. Thank you to my Real Housewives of Atlanta castmates for the 11 most unbelievable years of my life and the most incredible and unforgettable memories. I'm so grateful to have had this amazing journey, and I'm anxiously waiting to embark on new adventures. Most importantly, thank you to my fans. I could not have done it without you, your blessings, love, and support. Without the fans, none of this would be possible. I love and appreciate all of you. It's time to move on to my next chapter, and I look forward to sharing it with all of you. See you guys soon, Cynthia Bailey Hill. Well, honestly, I saw it coming. I think we all saw it coming. And, we wish her well. We do. We wish her well. When people write these things, and I have to wonder, you always have to wonder, because I believe that the network often will allow you to say that it's your decision. They allow you to go out in a blaze of glory that sounds very nice for you as the person. And most housewives will say, I've made that decision, when in fact it was usually the network who has made the decision. And I think it was probably for the best at this point that she moved on to other successful ventures, because I'm sure she'll be successful at whatever she does. But it was time. It was time for her to do the next best thing. And I think we will miss her presence on Real Housewives of Atlanta, but we're gonna welcome some fresh new energy. And I think it's about time, Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about this for a couple of seasons, how I feel like she's been on for a couple of seasons too long. And I didn't mean that in a bad way, because it's not personal, but it's just about what's going to make for the best show. And I just didn't feel like she was bringing the energy that was really necessary for the show to survive and thrive into the next generation that it's supposed to be. We get Bruce with the super chat, who says they offered her a reduced role with an open contract. It's almost like what happened with NeNe limited episodes. So if that's the case, I mean, then it's kind of like if you've been an OG for 11, not an OG, but if you've been a full-time cast member for 11 seasons or 11 years or however many years it's been, would you really be agreeable to taking on a limited role or a friend role and getting this smaller check? Is that check going to be worth it? And for a lot of people, that check is just not going to be worthwhile. It's just not. So, Toya Taylor says, thank Peter Thomas. He was your storyline. I mean, well, her drama with Peter was a highlight for her time on the show. And I'm glad we got to see her get married, and I'm glad we got to see her start her new adventure in her happily ever after. But it was time. It was time. I don't know. I think for a lot of people, though, is it that, because you have to think about your income is going to dramatically change. And do you then take a friend role with reduced income, or do you take the route of, some people would say it's pride, but some people would say you got to know when it's time to move on. And I think that there's something to be said for, it's time to move on, So there's that with Cynthia Bailey. Y'all, we had a lot. It was a lot to discuss today. We got one more live to do at 2 p.m. I'm going to take an hour break before we get into that. But yeah, man, we're going to talk about Salt Lake City for a little bit at 2 p.m. My voice is going, so please pray for me. But listen, we had to get through today's episode because it was so much going on. California Cutie says, Richie, thank you for making our Mondays feel like Friday. This episode was everything. Listen, y'all, it was indeed everything. Listen, if nobody has told you today, I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in and chatting with me as we went through this and chatting with each other. I really love it. And tell somebody else that you love them today as well, because I feel like that's what makes the world a better place. And I know that it can sound kind of corny, but it's very true. When you spread positive energy, it just uplifts people's day. So we want to do our best to spread as much positive energy as we possibly can. And with that being said, y'all, I will catch you guys in the next video.